What up?
What's going on?
It's the first episode, man, of the Painless podcast, sponsored by Painless Picasso.
Very cool.
And who do we have here? Mr. Robert Knappenberger.
Yes.
How you doing, big dog?
Happy to be here, brother.
So talk to me. What's our relation? How did we meet? How do we get to this point right here, right now?
So what? Seven years ago now?
Well, I got 7.5 on the job, right?
Yeah, so that'd be 7 years.
It's got to be at least 7 years.
7 years ago. 7 years ago.
7 years ago. Yeah. Oh, I don't tell it. Redacting that.
Okay.
You don't. They're not gonna know our address. But yes, we are located in the Williamsburg section of Brooklyn. Williamsburg. Shout out to Williamsburg, Brooklyn. All right.
Yeah, we're in Williamsburg.
Williamsburg firefighters. 7 years ago, we got on this job.
Came with your little cake.
Yeah, and we love it, right? We love this job, man. It's a great gig to have. We're very appreciative of being able to service our city.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, that's what it's about.
Community, service, helping people.
Absolutely.
It's a calling. It's a privilege to be able to do that.
Yes, it is.
You know?
Actually, to be of service to others, man, that should be everyone's objective in life.
Amen. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, we got the first episode going, right? Nice through trial and error. We got the camera set up. We got everything going. I think it took a little time, but we figured it out. Yeah. Nappy, we call him. All kinds of nicknames, but those are the ones that stuck the most, right? He's been an instrumental part of this company. Actually invested $10K now? 10K in the company, man. Look at that. Like, talk about putting your money where your mouth is when you talk about supporting people and believing in people's visions. It's important, that you show up, you show out. And, he has the ability to do that. That's a blessing. I understand that some people have invested, they put, $100. And if that's what you can afford, then to my heart, like, I appreciate you. I love you with all my heart. I still, put people up on a pedestal for supporting this movement. You don't have to, right? But it means a lot. And if you know me, I'm adamant about supporting people, man. You tell me you got something going on, and I'm going to do the best of my ability to support you. So.
For sure. Yeah. That was my thing, man. Like, growing up, I always had if I had an opportunity to help somebody out, I would.
Because you're that type of person. I feel like we're those type of people too. Like, I never had a hate and bone in my body, bro.
No, man.
You know what I mean? Like, you talk to some people and it's like, why you got that type of energy, right? Like,
you know what it is? And that's the thing, right? You can't really focus on the lack, right? But you can only be the change that you want to see in the world, right? So I wanted support. I didn't always have it, but I promised myself when I was able to, and if I could help others, I would.
Nice. I love it.
Put your money where your mouth is, just being there emotionally, physically, to help people around me. And especially people that have helped me, in my life.
Yeah.
I try to pay it forward.
Yeah, that's important, man. And we appreciate you, and I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being on the show, right?
Yeah.
One of our first episodes up of a long series of episodes that we're going to have on the Painless podcast. The idea, the mission, the vision, and the purpose behind the Painless podcast is to bring awareness to life's pain points, right? So we don't want to be morbid. We want to talk about more solutions, right? But the same way Painless Picasso alleviates the pain associated with tattoos, waxing, laser treatments, muscular pain, right? To be a pain relief company, the Painless podcast is going to alleviate the pain of life, right? We want to just talk about certain things and address certain issues and opinions that people may have in an unbiased way. Right. We want to address it from every angle possible. Right now, you're getting it filtered through our lens, but we want to bring people on here and hear their opinions. So, it doesn't matter who you are, what race, culture, class, or creed. We want to hear your opinions. So,
yeah. It's about. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah. And I think, especially being in the firehouse, we have an opportunity to have a very diverse group, especially in our firehouse specifically. And then we've had experiences with just, guys in general at night. Having those conversations, and, being able to get, it's not like attacking somebody's ideas. It's just kind of understanding each other, it's not a winning or losing thing. It's just more of like an understanding. We have a conversation.
Yeah. We have a saying in the department, leave everything at the door, right? Like when you come through those doors, it's not saying that you can't discuss it, right? We're open, we're a brotherhood, sisterhood, right? Of individuals, and we look out for each other. So, but there's certain things that, politics specifically, right, that we try to not bring into the house, right? Like you can have your beliefs, but that shouldn't hinder the job that we have and the relationships that we have. Correct.
Team first.
Team first, man. Team first, the job first when we're there and we're doing our job, and we don't want any personal belief systems to impede on that. So,
amen.
Right. And that's just speaking from these are not the views of the fire department. All that good stuff, right? Disclaimer.
Yeah. I mean, and the only reason why I bring it up is really just because had we not have been there, the majority of these people I would have never met in my life, just because they come from just a different place than everyone I associate with.
Very true.
And as those relationships have kind of flourished, like my other relationships have really kind of fallen back, so it's just something I realized in my life, like, not to say that, I purposely went and tried to make this change, but it's just a change that happened organically. And organically, it's just kind of like, like my friends, my family, everyone, they moved out, they went to different states, they had their family now, they have kids, so it's just like it kind of just takes precedence over what was when we were young, hanging out, on the streets and living like that.
No, absolutely, your upbringing, I've always had that view. It's like, it's not where you're from, it's where you're headed, right? And as long as you don't let your environment consume you, and I feel like we come from that type of environment, right, where a lot of our friends and family get consumed by it, and they don't see the bigger picture. Right, like they get lost to it. I got a lot of friends, right? You got a lot of friends that got lost to drugs and violence and jail, and so we're very fortunate to change that narrative.
Right. And that's the thing, right? I think that's the key point, right? Is not to be experienced to it is kind of I see it as a blessing, right? Because you get the perspective, right? You see where it could be, right? And then now you have a choice, right? It gives you these choices, right? Do I follow down that path, or do I make my own, and sometimes you're a trailblazer, right? So like, especially, starting this company and doing all these things that you've been doing.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Right? Like,
I'm trying.
In my life, there hasn't been many people that I grew up with or that I know that have tried to do that, right? The majority of people work, they work for someone else. And besides you, I have maybe 2 other people, in my life that I...
Stop it. You're making me blush.
Yeah, no, but it's true, man. And that's the thing, right? It's like, so many people want change and want, they complain and they don't like this and they don't like that. But how many people actually, do the steps and do the work, to actually make a change in their life? So like, you've been an inspiration to me.
Thanks, bro.
And I know that you will be an inspiration in the future.
Thanks, brother. That means a lot, man. Thank you so much. This is not easy. Like a lot of people attach motivation and ambition to ego, and they look at you as like, but it's not this really has nothing to do with anybody outside of myself. You know what I mean? It's really besides the mission, right? The mission is it's always had pure intention behind it, right? To provide natural alternative to pharmaceuticals, right? Once I found out that we can do that, I went full throttle into it, right? I've never felt more passionate about anything in my life, beyond and I tell people all the time, I've only felt this twice in my life, right? I've told you this before. I felt it when I became a tattoo artist, and I felt it when I became a firefighter. And this is the 3rd time in my life that I've ever been passionate about anything. And I'm going down with the ship, bro. Like, it is what it is. I don't give a fuck. I don't really give a fuck what happens. You know what I mean? Like, I just know that I'm going into it wholeheartedly with pure intention and creating something that really nobody's doing, man. Nobody's willing to put in the work to do it. And I'm glad and I'm blessed that God has given me that opportunity.
Amen, brother. Yeah, I see it, and like just seeing where you came in, where we were 7 years ago, both of us, right?
Yeah.
And then seeing the progression, seeing the kind of, trials and tribulations that we've come a long
way.
Life.
Yeah, we've come a long way. Little do you know. Oh man, those stories. Guys know the stories though, but we ain't gonna talk about that. I'm gonna have all you guys sign NDAs one day.
Say that for another day.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the thing, right? And I think like we go through this life, challenges happen, things arise, we make changes.
Yeah, but again, it's more so to focus on the solutions than the problems, right?
Amen. So, I mean, I think it's important. Well, in order for you to come up with a solution, you have to clearly address the problem, right? So that is part of it.
How have you? What tools have you fostered and on your journey to help with those solutions to those problems?
I mean, I think we've spoken about this, just like the death of kind of like allowing my ego, right, to kind of take that back seat, right, because that's huge, right, and when you are ruled by your ego, that I think that's the problem, right? Okay. So we can't. I think ego is necessary, right? We all have to have a sense of self, right? It gives us our place in this world. Like you need to have your path and your direction for your individual self, how you see yourself, where you want to go. That is what drives us to do all these different things. But I think at a point, like you could be overtaken by it, and it kind of just becomes all consuming. And now instead of your ego serving you, you're serving your ego.
Absolutely. Right? And you believe that that's who you are.
Yeah. And then like, and well, that's the definition of ego, right? Like we are what our ego tells us we are, right? And that's why we're doing, certainly some of the things that we do in life, if we have a choice in it, if you have the cognizance, right? And I guess that's another part of it, right? It was like being able to understand that the choices that I have, in this life, who do I want to be? Like what choice do I want to make? Right? You come into this fork in the road, right? And for me, it's just been clearly outlined, kind of like a negative and positive, right? There's two ways to go about it. I could do this, or I could do that, right? And
so you don't feel like there's a middle road in anything?
I mean, like you could. I not to say that you can't. I think that there's a way to dance on that line, but I don't know. Just in my life, like I've kind of always felt like one way or the other. It was either or, and like I speak about this like constantly, like my duality, right? Like kind of the both sides of the spectrum. And I always felt like I was either being pulled one way or the other. And it could just be the way that I am, but I've just always felt that in my life. It was just either, one way or the other,
No, I can relate. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that duality, right, of life, the up and down, the left and the right, the night and the day, and the polar opposites. Right? Yeah, we see it in politics nowadays, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of walk that middle area. Right? It's very blurred, but I think balance in everything is necessary. Right? Balance in everything is necessary. Not too much of anything. Everything in moderation.
Amen.
Yeah, it's having the tools to do so though. Right? Because how often are we pulled in one direction?
Yes.
Right? And so,
and sometimes it's not the easy choice. And I would actually go as far as to say it's always the harder choice, right? To do the right thing. It's never so simple. To do the right thing, but in the end, for me, it's just I feel like it's worked out. I feel like I've received blessings from it, and it may not always be immediate, but down the road, I feel like I've been blessed to, have the situations come up that did, make the choices that I did, and have led me down this road. Like even just for me to end up with this job.
Yeah.
It's been a road. It's been
it's a journey, man.
Yeah.
It's a journey. You want to talk on that? Like, let's discuss how, like, what got Robert Knappenberger to become a firefighter.
Yeah. I mean, so I never planned on being a firefighter. I didn't know anything about firefighting. I didn't have any family on the job. I didn't, I always obviously seen the fire trucks as a kid, and, big trucks and lights, sirens. It's cool. Yeah. It's a great job. I growing up, I didn't have like fear of fire and stuff like that. And I actually had an incident where, yeah,
you gotta look up any fires that happened during the years of 89 to 95. If there's any fires that happened in Sheepshead Bay,
there was a fire. Yeah, there was actually a fire in my house. Not in my house.
You just gave yourself away. That's
down the road from me. Yeah. And we're playing outside, and I seen the flames like coming out of the basement.
Damn.
And even as a kid, like I knew, and I was like, that's not right. And then I was like yelling down the block, call 911, call 911. Went to my house, told my parents, they called. And yeah, my
look, that's his first. He had his first job. Yeah, his first job as a kid, and he did. He potentially saved people.
And my dad ran in there. Scared
nice.
The shit out of me. Yeah.
Okay.
He ran in there. He got people out from the top floors.
Okay.
And and he said I followed him, but I don't remember that. So
okay.
I remember him going in. That's the last thing I remember.
Yeah. Daddy.
Yeah. Right, nice. Yeah, because I was scared. I was afraid. I was afraid for him.
Okay, so coming up, the segments are gonna be a half an hour. So we're coming up on 20 minutes now. Let's hone in now these last 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean we can always cut out.
No, it's gonna be a half an hour long. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna cut segments or whatever. Definitely. But what time is it? It's 3:16. All right, you know what?
Okay, we got till 4.
Yeah, we got till 4. All right, so we got enough time. But I don't want to with people's attention spans, I want to keep it concise and kind of work the journey. So let's continue on the firefighting stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So we went through you as a kid. We gave a little story about that. Let's talk more specifically, your background. How did you get into becoming a firefighter? What was the story prior? What did you do prior to becoming a firefighter?
Prior to becoming a firefighter, I worked at Equinox. Mm-hmm. I was a sales rep.
Shout out to Equinox. Big body.
Yeah.
Big body. If you want to be a sponsor, we can talk a little later.
Yeah, I love Equinox. It was one of the, and that's the thing is like I said, choices, right? I had choices where I wanted to work, and I always try to align myself with a company that shared my vision, right? And Equinox, going into Equinox, I knew nothing about it. Then it was an expensive gym, right? But then participating in the classes, seeing the community, and understanding how much time and passion that those individuals devote to their programs, right? And that was where I actually seen for the first time really in corporate world, it was where somebody's passion really mixed with, and that's the thing, they say it's not fitness, it's a lifestyle, and they really do believe that. And that was a great job and a great place to start honing my tools and gave me an opportunity to work out, gave me an opportunity to be fit, and set myself up for becoming a fireman.
Nice. So from there, straight from Equinox, you went into firefighter.
Yeah. So I was working at Equinox, I was going in preparing for the academy, preparing for my background investigation, all that stuff. And then it was just a time.
But you have military experience, no?
And then military, but military was 18. I was in the military 18.
So you went into the military at 18 years old?
Yes. Yeah.
So that's a whole nother ball game.
Oh, yeah, brother.
Right? You went into the military at 18 years old.
Yeah.
And then you got out the military, you went into Equinox.
No, got out of the military, then I started working at Toyota, Lee's Toyota.
So you're a military veteran, Marine? Army. You went Army. Right, so let's run that back. So you're a military man. You went into the Army.
Regular Army.
Regular Army. All right, regular Army man. Serving. Thank you for your service.
Yep.
Right. How many years did you do there?
2 years.
2 years Army. Then went into Equinox out of there.
Then I came back. I came back here. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, so I looked for work, right? There was this is 2009, 2010. So the job economy wasn't that great.
Okay.
So they said oh yeah, veterans are going to get all these job options and stuff. I had a hard time finding work. I went to the newspaper ad for Lee's Toyota. I called them up. I was like, hey, look, I'm looking to get a job. They're like, can you come down for an interview today? I was like, yeah. So I think I called them 1 o'clock. By 3 o'clock, I was there.
Okay.
Sat for my interview. They had a position for a salesperson. That's what I put in for.
Okay.
And then they were sitting me with me, and then what's your background and stuff? So I was told them I was military. I was a mechanic in the military. It's yeah, we have tons of mechanic jobs. Why do you want to be a salesperson? And I was like, well, you don't really have any experience. And I was like, well, how am I ever going to get experience if nobody ever gives me a shot?
Word up.
And Joel, who was the manager at the time, he's like, that's a good point. He's like, how do you feel about starting Monday?
Nice.
Yeah, man.
That's dope.
Yes. So my life has been that way.
Yeah.
Yes. It's been that way with the majority of jobs, man. Wow. You know, and like, I don't know if like that's a sales tactic on their part because it makes you feel so damn good.
Yeah.
Like I left there, you know, feeling like $1 million.
Yeah. Wow, man. That's dope. So we got the military 2 years, Army for 2 years, came out. How long were you doing car sales?
I did car sales for about a year.
About a year. Then you went to Equinox after that.
No.
Jesus Christ! How many gigs did you have? I can relate. I had a lot of jobs in my 20s.
And that's the thing, man. It's like, you know, and it's funny because like I feel like the job market, like when they read your apps and they, you know, they see these things, they kind of look at it and they frown upon it. But honestly, it was an opportunity to learn a lot about life and a lot about myself. And like each place highlighted something about me and brought out different sides of me. That I got a better understanding of who I wanted to be.
Yeah, you hear that? You hear that, young folks? Get out there, man.
Yeah.
Get out there, get experience.
Yes.
Get the hell off your phones.
Yeah.
Go work. Do something. Please. We need workers. We need hardworking people out there.
Even more than that, brother. It opened up, like I said, like it kind of gave me different avenues to explore different parts of myself, right? And to see, is this someone I want to be, right? And like at Equinox, at Toyota dealership, you know, we used to have a limo come pick us up every Friday.
Wow.
You know, I used to wear a nice little suit to work and like my suit and tie, and I felt like, you know, here I am, got a big boy job, and make all this money selling cars.
Early 20s,
right. You know, exactly, early 20s.
Early 20s. That's a big thing, man. How many young men and women, man, in their early 20s, you know, like are out there grinding. And, you know, if you are out there grinding, right? We're both men in our mid-30s now. Trust me, just keep grinding, man. Keep working. Nothing comes overnight. As much as we thought, right? How much did we think that we were going to be rich by?
I thought I was going to be rich when I got that job. I was like, I'm selling cars. I'm going to be making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Exactly. And being rich is relative, right? It's very relative. Rich is not. Rich is not money. Nothing to do with money. Exactly. True. It has nothing to do with money. Being rich in spirit, being rich in mind, being rich in your physique, right? Your
health.
Your health. Yeah, being rich in your health.
Your spirituality.
Yeah, man. It's
your
important.
Mental.
So going back, we got Army, car sales.
Then I went to college.
Okay.
Did college. I studied what was it? Criminal justice.
Okay.
Criminal justice, and then I did criminal justice associates, and then through my associates, I met this professor who convinced me to switch to microcellular biology major.
Okay.
So then I went to Brooklyn College, did microcellular biology at Brooklyn College. I did not have the experience in that college that I did in my previous one. Okay. So I kind of struggled. And then I ended up leaving. And going to work as a receptionist at salon and spa.
Get out of here, dude. Yeah. How long did you do that for?
I did that that was pretty long. It was about almost 2 years.
2 years you were a receptionist at a salon and spa.
Man.
Okay. Yeah. You still got those connections? Because we need that for the product. You're going to get into freaking salons and spas. Any salons and spas, waxing, laser treatment centers, reach out to us. Our product works for at least 3 hours and it numbs the skin. It is antiseptic. It's a great product. Check us out. Natural alternative to pharmaceuticals like lidocaine. All right. Shameless plug. Moving right along.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we got salons and spas for 2 years, and then
Upper East Side. You know, working with some of
some high end
celebrities.
Yeah, okay.
You know, the top echelon.
At this point, you're already in your mid-20s.
Now I'm
mid-20s, and then from there, what happens after the salon and spa?
After salon and spa. Then what did I do? Salon and spa. Oh, I did contracting. I did painting. I did demolition.
Okay.
Yeah, and I started doing the painting a little bit inside the salon and spa when I had off. And then when I left, my friend was working for a company. I was sitting down there because I had just left the company. I knew I didn't want to do it anymore. I kind of thought college was going to be the answer, but it really wasn't. And then... So now I'm sitting there, I'm like debating what I'm going to do with myself. sitting out with my friend, we're talking, and he's like, listen, I've been, working in this company for 5 years, tired of doing it. I'm going to work out and start my own business. Right. So he was like, look, if you need a job, I can take you on. And he gave me a shot.
At doing what?
Painting.
Okay.
So painting, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was like, bro,
I thought you went to your local drug dealer. I was like, yo, there's a job. You got to tell us what the hell you was going to do. Painting. Yeah.
So yeah, I started painting. And then just meet up with him, like commercial painting houses, painting apartments. And like even that, right? It was funny, man. Like we would go and you wouldn't really think it's an emotional thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of people are just like, oh, yeah, I just need my face painted. But when we would get in there and we would get done, like some people, the reactions to what we did to a space, Very true. It was cool.
And that's a big part of any business, man, is you need to sell the emotion. Right? You're selling an experience. Everybody's so hyper focused on the product. I'm guilty of it. I've spent a lot of time on product and ideation. But again, when your intention is pure, it's going to reflect in the work.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my friend was an artist, man. He was amazing. Like it was a pleasure working with him.
You said he was? I
mean, he is.
Oh, he's
still doing it.
Okay,
he's still doing it. But in the past tense of
of you guys working together.
Yeah, of us working together. It was just amazing to see what he was able to accomplish, and and like you said, like the passion, the devotion to what he was doing, and just you look at a place painted, and you don't really think much of it, but working with him, it really opened my eyes to like the creative aspect, and the attention to the detail.
Yeah.
And like sometimes we'd be doing work, right, and this used to piss me off because we'd be doing work and. It'd be getting late. I'm tired. And I gotta wake up tomorrow and I gotta do my other job or like come back and work more with him. And he come in and he's like, man, you gotta do another coat. And I'm like, no. I did 3 coats. I went heavy as hell. There's hardly any paint left.
Yeah.
And he would go out and get more paint and do whatever he's got to do because he was not happy with it.
Wow.
And that's when I got the respect for him, right? I was like, this motherfucker, right? He's making me work more. But then you know what it was? It wasn't up to his standard, and that's the thing of like, and I'll never forget that, and I always give him credit for that because, it could have been easy. He could have just been like, look, we're done, right? Yeah. There's no more paint. I painted everything. Wow. It looks fine, right? But it wasn't up to his standard, and he just didn't let it rock.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's great work ethic and holding high standards. So straight from painting, now what do we do?
From painting. Then we go Equinox.
All right. Full circle. Now we're back at Equinox.
Full circle. Equinox to fire department.
And
fire department, it's been for the last 8 years for me.
8 years, man. 8 years on the job.
Yep. December.
Congrats, brother.
Yep. Thank you.
That's great, man. It's been great working alongside you. Again, we're here to address pain points, right? In life. So if you could think of a pain point that you've experienced the most in your life, that you'd like to address, that you'd like to find more solutions, right? And that's what this is about, right? It's bringing awareness to these pain points. And it may not happen now, right? But somewhere there's someone that's going to watch this, right? And they may have a resource for you, right? They may have a way of addressing that pain point, right? So if you could say a pain point that if you're willing to make yourself vulnerable, right now, what would you say is something that pains you?
I mean, we could go down this.
It's big, but just give us one thing that you can say that in this moment that you believe that you would really like to solve within yourself, within work, within anything. It could be any pain point in your life that you feel like you'd like to find a resource, that you'd like to find a way to alleviate that pain.
Yeah. This is a good question. Man, there's a lot. What is something that I would want to touch on that I think I could grab for this?
It's a deep one.
Yeah.
And the thing is that this is coming organic. People we didn't like this episode just came, like we scheduled it, but there was no like talking points. There was no like, things that we could rehearse. And this actually just came out organically as just from the thought process of what this show can be about. Right. Yeah. So I kind of put him on the spot, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
But it's like, I think that's something that I'm going to continue to follow up on, you know, like what is something that a pain point that you want to address, bro? Because we talk all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? We talk all the time, and we've tried different solutions. I've tried different solutions for pain points in my life that may or may not have worked. Yeah. You know? So a lot of the time it's because we're not doing enough work and asking for enough help. Yeah. That's the fucking truth, man. You know what I mean? So in moments like this, you never know who's going to be watching. You never know who's going to, you know, that may have a resource for you for a pain point that you really want to solve. You know? So if you could think of one thing in your life, again, it doesn't have to be something so personal. You don't got to divulge things that you're really going through right now, whatever. It's really up to you. Something that you want to solve, a pain point in your life that you want to alleviate.
Yeah, I mean, so, and that's the thing is like a lot of the things that have pained me in this life, I've kind of come to grips with. Okay. You know, were they all alleviated? Alleviation's a big word.
It is. It's broad.
Yeah, yeah. Broad I mean, like I definitely put away a lot, right? And like just, you know, recently, like with my own life experiences, like I went to, you know, rehab, and it kind of had like this stigma about, you know, I feel like rehab kind of gets a stigma, right? But I really think it's a place where
well, I applaud you on you asking for help, number one.
Yeah.
I've gone to rehab myself. I've tried different solutions, right? I don't have it all figured out. You know, I'm okay with saying that. There are pain points and things in my life that I like to alleviate, but this isn't about me. This is about, right? This is, as of right now, this is again, bringing people on the show who don't have a voice, right? Who don't have a place to speak, you know, a place to discuss things. And so, you know, when I'm asking you a pain point, it's really like, take your time, bro. We got time here. There's no rush. Like, take your time. Think of something that if you knew somebody was watching right now, right, that had the fucking golden ticket to this pain point that you've been experiencing, man, throughout your life. Yeah. A golden magic remedy. Yeah. Right? And they have it. And they just need to see you.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, man. I don't know if there is like a, you know, like a end all be all.
There's not. There probably isn't. There probably isn't. But again, I'm giving you a kind of a way of really disclosing and opening yourself up to maybe the possibility that there is a remedy out there.
Yeah, no, well, you know, and that's possible. The thing. I think we all have the remedies, right? And we can all be the remedy for each other. I think it's just being able to find someone that you can confide in, someone that you could be vulnerable with. You know, being able to be your true self.
I love that.
To be vulnerable, to be accepted.
I love that.
Right? And not seen as weak or not seen as something other than someone that's just experiencing something and trying to work through it, right? And I think like so many times in society, like it becomes like this, you know, oh, like you look so, you know, you sound so broken, or you're so hurt, and it becomes about it's not about the pain, right? I'm just trying to share it to get it out there, right? Okay. So I can sort my own ideas, so I can hear it, right? And that was like something that I learned in rehab, right? Because I wasn't able to speak, and I would never be able to do this, never be able to speak about these things publicly, never wanted to, really, honestly. And then, you know, going there and hearing some of the things that people had spoken about, you know, and like the courage that it took for them to say these things, you know, to a room full of strangers.
I love that.
And and that
I think that you basically just gave the answer.
Yeah, man.
You basically just gave the answer, right? You said that initially you couldn't speak, right? You didn't want to speak. There was no avenue of
I physically could not.
Yeah, exactly. And how many now, this doesn't just, of course, isolate, you know, you don't isolate just to men, but like I'm talking about us right now, right? Like men, we shut down, man. I'm guilty of it. We shut down. We don't want to talk. And like you said, that physical, like you cannot, bro, like you can't talk, man. It's so hard, you know, and you shut down. Yeah. I'm guilty of it. I know you are. I know a lot of men out there are. So let's reel it back. Let's try to get there. Let's try to bring it like a concise way, because you gave the answer. You just didn't say it. Right? Yeah. You just didn't say it. So if you could think of something, right? Something that in my interpretation of what you said is like you don't have a resource to speak. Yeah. You understand? Or an ability to express yourself or without being judged. Possibly, without being judged. Yeah, man. So that was your answer, bro. That really was. That was your answer. You didn't say it because you stated it in a long form.
And that's the thing is like for each person it's gonna be different, right? I can't give you. I like for me, what worked was going there and then learning the tools. It's not really like the biggest tool I got from there was being able to speak, right? And it was something that. First off, I never really cared to, right? Because I didn't think anybody cared. I didn't think anybody can understand, and I didn't look for that, right? And more than like looking for someone to connect with it, it was just about, like I said, just getting it out there, right? Putting these things out there, so this way it made it real for me, and this way I could address it, right? Because otherwise, it was just stuck in my echo chamber, right? It was just all in my head, and then now, for years, it's been playing over and over, and I've just been beating myself up about it, blaming others, right? And it was like having it said out loud in front of a room full of strangers, having people receive it, right? And just saying it. And it's not like to say that I got feedback from it, right? And I did, right? But that wasn't really the thing for me, right? What was just having that moment to just bring it outside of myself for me.
So would you say that you would like the ability to have more opportunities to do that?
I mean, well, so this is why like doing this, and just like speaking about it now, just personally, like within people in my life and stuff. I've been doing that. It's does it help? Like it helps me for for what I would hope that I could get from it, but really it was just like it was something that I wanted to just kind of bring attention to, that a tool that worked for me, and I think could work for others, and that's it, man.
I love it. So I'm gonna ask you again. We're gonna try to get it to pinpoint it. I think it's important that we pinpoint it, right? Okay, so what would you say if you could think of anything that is a pain point that you believe that you could use? That again, there's no answer, there's no specific thing, but if somebody had a remedy, somebody had this magical potion that could solve this pain point for you, what would that pain point be?
I don't know. I mean, like, and that's the thing, like, I don't know. In terms of what, a solution?
No, it's the pain point, not the solution. In terms of a point of pain. A point of pain. Just it's one. You could think of just one word. Yeah. What would you say it is? I
don't know. With that.
I think I know. I think I know the word. I'm going to say.
Let me hear it.
I think the word is expression.
Expression. That's a good one.
Simple. Yeah. I think that you need more ways of being able to express yourself without judgment. You said that. That's what you said. You said that just now, right? It's just that to me, I think that you overcomplicate things in your head, right? You think
of course.
Yeah, you're thinking about, and your inability to make yourself vulnerable, number one. And that's everybody. That's every man. I'm guilty of it too. But just don't overcomplicate it. Like you said it. You said it already. You said that, you want to be able to express yourself without being judged. You said that. You know what I mean? Like you wanted to talk more without being judged. And so that's what it is, right? Your pain point is expression. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's what it is, bro. Like, so you need to seek ways, right? And I'm hoping that anybody that's watching this, right, has ways of and maybe that's your way. Maybe that's your thing now. Maybe that's your because you've experienced this, right? You've had this pain point for a while, and rehab helped out with it, right? It helped you.
I think it addressed, it brought it to
light, right? Yeah, so now being able to master it, right? Being able to master that, whatever it is that's necessary for you to express yourself without judgment, and being around those people, like you said, right? Yeah. Community is very important. Community is very important. I don't know what the hell that was, but community is very important, and finding out ways for you to express yourself, because I can see how much better you were when you came out of rehab.
Yeah.
You know, like I can see that there was a weight lifted off your shoulders.
Yeah.
Right. But it's a constant work that we have to do.
No, and that's the reality of it, right? What was given there was a tool, right? And I was happy to receive it, and now it's just doing the work and like trying to figure out find what the answers to my pain points are, right? Expression being one of them.
Yeah, and I appreciate you expressing yourself today on the Painless podcast. You did a great fucking job, dude.
Thank you.
We brought it full circle, and I hope that this helped however way it can in your journey. I appreciate you and your investment that you made in this company. You're an investor. You're as like anybody else that has invested into this company on WeFunder. You can find Painless Picasso on WeFunder. Whenever you watch this episode, if it's still up, you're more than welcome to invest into Painless Picasso. The Painless podcast is an offshoot of the company, right? We're here to alleviate the pain of life, right? On this podcast. And I hope that we can address issues that common folk like ourselves, we're not big daytime TV celebrities, right? But at the end of the day, I believe that our people, any people, common people deserve to have a voice. And we are the majority. So, that's what it's about.
Amen.
Yeah. Anything else? Any closing statements?
Closing statements. I just feel like, and that's the thing, right? Like having all these life experiences, I got to meet with a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And, I met a lot of wealthy people and people to do, and they had a lot of pain also, right? And the thing is that the difference between them and the majority of people is that they didn't let their pain crush them, right? They didn't let those things in life that most people would just get to and then quit stop them, right? And they kept pushing, right? And then they used the determination and the skills that they gleaned from the pain and the suffering to then turn it into a positive, right? And not to say that it was my words, right? Like these are just the experiences that I was shared with, and why did they share with me? I don't know, right? It was just like in that segment of vulnerability, right? And like I said, like everyone kind of just wants a place to just express that.
Absolutely.
Right. And for them, it was just, the little guy sitting there selling them cable, and, maybe I was just,
he was a cable seller at one point. Yeah. That was the reference there. I don't think we talked about his Verizon sales. So Verizon, if you want to be a sponsor, this guy is actually work for, But, nah, man, that's dope. Yeah. I love that. And yeah, I think this episode may be called some title form of expression, we'll be some creative about it. No, I love it, dude. And I love you. And I thank you. I thank you for all that you've done, throughout the years, the self-work that you've done. And I commend you on the journey that you're taking. And
it ain't easy.
It ain't easy, dude. It's not easy. It's an everyday thing, man. Yeah. You wake up and you have to face yourself. You have to face yourself, dude. Yeah. And we are our greatest enemy.
Accountability.
Yeah, you can't. Well, let me rephrase that. You can be your worst enemy, or you can be your best friend.
Amen.
Right. So be kind to yourself, my friend.
Yeah.
Right. Be kind to yourself, man. You're a good dude. All right. You don't gotta beat yourself up, man, and overthink shit. It's very simple.
I know.
All right. I know you do, but
I like to be calculated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Don't calculate too much. Don't calculate too much. Like
it's balance, brother. It's balance.
It's balance. Right? It's balance. But I think you gravitate a little bit more towards the over calculation than you do like being in the middle and just being like, fuck this problem. You know what I mean? Like as far as like the mathematics behind it. You know? So, I'm a firm believer that God is in the math.
Amen.
You know what I mean? God is math, essentially. So, yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yeah.
Good shit. I don't know. Anything else we got? Anything else you wanna close off on? Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know.
I could always mix it in, like bring a segment back into like the forefront, and then we can close off like how we did before. Like so if you got anything else that you want to address, just
well, and that was the thing, right? So initially, why I had wanted to do this with you was to talk about my friend and kind of with the loss, right? So, and like that's the thing. I didn't want to make it about loss and make it like all dark and stuff because I feel like our topic was really positive.
Right? We did a great job.
Yeah,
this is really, in our opinion. You guys would give us, whatever the feedback. I mean, I think we did a good job. I mean, come on, guys. You let us know in the comments and whatever it is, but I think we did a pretty good job. But you did want to address your friend. Tell us about your friend.
And that was the thing, right? Is just like the conversations that. So unfortunately for me, I had, a friend that had terminated himself, right? Or I don't know what we could say on this.
Right? Do you mean like committed suicide?
Yeah, but you can't say that.
Why not?
It gets banned.
Committed suicide gets banned?
Yeah, you can't say that. So so he ended himself, or I don't know what we could say, right? But he's not here anymore.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry for your loss.
Yes, no.
Sorry to hear that.
And that was the thing, right? So like the day before he did that, he actually reached out to me and I met with him and we spoke. And just some of like the kind of the conversation similar to what we've spoken about here. I mean, definitely on a different note, but just a deep, intimate conversation, right? Something that, and that's the thing is like in my life, there's not many people that I sit and have these conversations with before now, right? So like before going to rehab, I had hardly anybody, not my parents, not my not most of my friends, so he was probably one of 3 people in my life that I've ever been vulnerable with and spoken to and known things, right? So like whatever, he reached out to me and it scared me because it brought me back to a time where I had received calls from my friends in the military who had called me, and by the time I called them back, they were gone, right? And then it kind of like brought that, those feelings back. So then when I reached out to him and I spoke with him on the phone, I was like, oh, we're good. He's in good spirits.
You spoke to him on the phone after rehab. You talking about?
No, this is before rehab. So this is like I spoke with him before rehab.
Okay.
This is like probably a month before I went to rehab.
Okay.
And a big part of me going to rehab was really this, right? Because if I would have, and in hindsight,
what's this?
Is this point like him, right?
Okay.
So a big reason why I agreed to go was because, he ended himself with drugs, right? So he overdosed on drugs.
Okay.
And a lot of the things that we had spoken about, I was just trying to give him solutions instead of listening to his pain. And like,
wow.
And after going to rehab, had I had known what I had found there, I would have literally locked the door and drove him there, and I would have checked us both in, and we could have both went through it.
Wow, man.
And like, had it not been a month after that, like, had I just went to rehab, 4 months sooner, maybe I could have saved his life, because I could have brought him to a place that maybe he needed help that I couldn't give him, but he had no one else to turn to, and I blame myself for that for a while. Yeah. And that was the thing, right? Going there and talking to people, like I said, I was just trying to give solutions. I was just trying to fix his world problems, but his problems were beyond my fixing at that point, right? And he needed help from somebody that I couldn't provide, right? So that was the thing, right? So me going there, seeing these things, the conversations that we had, some of the things that, he was letting off, and like he was telling me these things, but I was so lost in where I was at the point that I wasn't willing or able to hear what he was saying to me,
Wow.
And like, I'm just like, he was worried about being homeless. I'm like, you can come live with me, right? He's worried about having a job. I'm like, I'll reach out to my friends for you, right? And so that's the thing, and then with his family, like he had issues with his family. He was worried that, his kids were cutting him off and that they were never going to speak to him again. And one of the points that I feel, and this is one of the points that I really wanted to address on this, was that, I told him, like, listen, look, if you end yourself now, right, all those things and the way that the relationships are, as bad as they are, it's going to be like that forever. Wow. Right? There will be no reconciliation for that, right? Because now you're ending any possibility of reconciliation, right? So yes, they might not be speaking to you now, but you got to think, like, and I told him this. I was like, I hated my parents when I was 18, like his children are 18. His oldest was 18. And I was like, I hated them. I never want to speak to them. And, now we live together. We're good friends. Right. So it's like, you can't know what the future is going to hold. Right.
Absolutely.
And like I said, I don't think he meant it to do any harm to them. Right. He was just in such a place of pain. Right. And for him, there was just no way out. Right. Other than ending his life.
Wow.
And I think, like, just to touch on that, not that I could be in his position, but having that conversation with him and hearing these things and then knowing where it ended for him, right, was just something that I wanted to address in that sense, and say that, like, when you're in that place, there is places that you can go to seek help. And not everybody is equipped, to deal with that, and not everybody is and then there is places to go.
Yeah.
Right. And one place that I would know of now would be to go to rehab. Right. Yeah. Like, if even, not to say that he had a problem with drugs, right, but he used that as his terminus. Yeah.
So we want to say, we know that there are a lot of rehabs out there, and my cousin actually is just one of my cousins, nobody specific, came back from one, and it was a nightmare. You know what I mean? So there are experiences at some rehabs. Look, seek help anywhere that you can seek help. This podcast here is not a substitute for medical advice, psychological advice.
Yeah.
But seek help wherever it may be that, is necessary. I know that we both went to Marworth.
Yeah.
Right? We both went to Marworth. I think I had a great experience.
I did too.
Yeah, I had a great experience there. Great people, great energy. They really want to help.
They did.
And so shout out to Marworth. Shout out to Jamie Plants. Jamie Plants, you're a good man, right? Navigated us there. I think Jamie Plants has over 15 years sober?
I believe it's 16 this year.
16 years this year. Congratulations, Jamie Plants. Everybody hates you, but we don't. I'm joking. I'll get it. We love you, and but nonetheless, what was your friend's name?
Phil.
Phil.
Yeah.
Okay, Phil. Rest in peace, big dog.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. My condolences to you, brother. No, is there anything that you wish you could say to him right now?
And that's the thing, right? Like, I went when I went to his funeral, and I didn't get my piece, right? Like, and it's funny because we had Lynch's wedding that day, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
So the same day that Lynch's wedding was,
I didn't know that.
My
you came funeral. Immediately after that.
I came immediately after that. Right? I didn't know I went to his funeral in Bay Ridge, and then I shot over to the wedding. I did not know that, dude. But and it's just funny, man, because that day was just like such a summary of the wonders of life, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, here you have the depth of this death, this just sad tragedy, and then you have the beauty of this young couple coming together, finding true love.
Yeah.
And like Lynch and his wife, they love each other. They
love
much.
Each other. Pure souls.
Beautiful.
Congratulations, Lynchy boy.
Yes.
Good guy. Good man.
And that's the thing, man. For me, it was just such a beautiful culmination of that day, right? And that's the thing, right? You can't have the highest highs without the lowest lows. The duality of it. Yes, it's dark. Yes, it seems tough now, right? But you can't let the darkness overcome you and give into it.
Absolutely.
Right? It too shall pass, right?
And
when it does, you shall look. You can't understand the greatness without the suffering.
Yes.
Right?
Amen.
It can just all be good.
Amen.
Preach. All the time,
Yes, I love it.
So
I love it, dude. So I mean, in closing, is there anything that you said you didn't speak your piece to Phil?
Yeah. So
what would you say, Phil?
Phil, I love you. I miss you a lot. I wish I had known what I know now, to try to help you, and that's the thing. I don't know if it would have, but at least it would have been more than what I did at the time, so, and that's it. I just hope he, I hope he knows I pray for him every day. So that's it.
Beautiful, brother.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Phil, we love you. You know, you got a good guy here. We don't, and you know, we've had death in the firehouse recently.
Yeah. And then that's another thing.
So yeah, it's you know, it comes around, man, and it's tough. You know, we blame ourselves, right, for things that we wish we could have did better. And although there are things we could have did better, I think that it is up to us as individuals, right? We're all individuals, but we're all connected. I believe that.
Amen,
right? I believe we're all connected. We should do more for one another. We should ask more questions, right? We should be there more, right? Like we all got so much going on, man. But if we just take a little bit more time, sometimes just ask how you doing. You know, ask how you doing.
It doesn't cost anything to be kind.
It doesn't, man. It doesn't cost anything. It really doesn't. You know, and I'm so caught up sometimes also. I want everybody to know in my circle, you especially, and you know, my parents, my mother, you know, everybody just left the crib recently, right? My mom got the crib dolo, right? She ain't got no kids. So, you know, I want everybody to know, just in general, like that people love you. People fucking love you, man.
Amen.
You know, don't be selfish.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's funny because and I didn't know this, right, until I met with him. But so for 3 years, he didn't leave the house at all.
Wow.
Right. So this is during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't leave the house. He didn't speak to anybody. And when we went out, he was like, literally like, this is the first time I left my house in 3 years.
Jesus Christ.
Right. So yeah. And that's the thing, man.
That's crazy.
You know, to be so isolated.
Yeah, man.
Right.
That's dangerous.
And that's when I was afraid for him, but I didn't. So I kept calling him. Right. So I was speaking to him every day.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what to do with that, man.
Of course not.
Don't be alone, right? You're never alone.
Yeah, man.
You know, and sometimes it could feel that way. And sometimes people are consumed with the things that they're doing in their lives. And you could feel like they don't care. Or, you know, and that's the thing, right? I don't really know, right? And another part of it is like, he told me, you don't know everything, right? He's like, Robert, you don't know everything. You know, and I don't know what that meant, you know? But the thing is like, being alone is probably the worst place to be, especially if things aren't going
isolation. Well. Isolation is not like there's a time for isolation.
100%.
There's a time for isolation.
When you're in a good place, isolation could be very transformative.
Place. It's a beautiful place. I've done it, and it's a beautiful place. Not in this, not in this scenario, but. Nonetheless, man, you know, I know that you did your best with what you had at the time, right? And so we move on with the tools that we now have been instilled with, right? And we try to avoid any future scenarios like this, right? To the best of our ability.
Amen.
And we just continue to be greater people, you know, than what we were yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? That's it.
Yeah. Help each other, love each other.
That's it, brother, right? This too shall pass. I think that's going to be the name of the episode. I like it. All right. Yeah, I think we could wrap this up.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
You got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Good? Feel good?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, so, you know, again, shameless plug, the Painless Podcast sponsored by Painless Picasso right now. Go check us out. We're live on Amazon. You can see our episode on Amazon's Buy It Now, which is airing on December 11th. I'll be on there with the product as the founder and CEO of Painless Picasso. At Painless Picasso, we're alleviating the pain associated with procedures like tattoos, waxing, laser treatments. You won't feel the procedure for upwards of 3 hours. Also, you can use this for everyday muscle aches and pains. You can use this for everyday aches. Also, you can use this for everyday aches. Hands, feet. And yeah, that's where we're going. You can also invest in WeFunder like my great friend here did, right? 10,000 of his hard-earned dollars going into the campaign on WeFunder as a friend and the friends and family round. And I really appreciate you for that, brother. It means a lot to me.
I believe in you, brother. I love you.
Thank you so much. I love you too. And yeah, go check us out. And again, any resources, there are resources out there if you are having problems at home with your mental health. And anything, man, just go out there and ask for help, man. All right. So yeah, brother, we'll close it out. All right. Good. I love you, dude, and thanks for being here. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
All right.